You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889. Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. And with me today is Gil Karson. It's Karson with a K. How you doing today, sir?
Feeling great.
Good. I'm glad you're here, and I just recently met you, but we've got a great event coming up at the Bandshell down by the beach, Sunday, May 28th, which we're going to get into, is one of the main reasons we're here. We also have a brand new music debut, and I was talking to Gil, and this song that he's going to play for us later in this interview will be the first time that this song's ever played on public radio. Or radio in general, over the airways.
That's right.
Right. And so you're bestowing that honor upon me, so I appreciate that. You're the first musician that I've ever interviewed since I own the radio station as well.
An honor.
Well, you know, I did interview J.D. Straight, right?
Okay.
Danny Fletcher, J.D. Straight.
Right.
But I did that under the guise of like the 4th of July celebration, the summer concert series that he was participating in. You know what I mean? I've never had the focus of an interview of being a musician that's got a lot of history and debuting a new song. So now that I mentioned all of that, thank you again and welcome.
Thank you, Johnny. Also, I will give you the studio recording to play whenever you
great.
want to.
Yeah, I'll fit that in.
And today's live performance will be a shorter version of the song, shorter than the studio production.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. I appreciate that. I mean, obviously, some musicians are incredible, and I'll tell you. So I'm 43 years old, right? So think about me at like 12 years old, right? 1992, okay? And what was like the popular music like popping up in 1992? It's going to be like the rap music, right? The hip hop music,
Absolutely.
right? So at 12 years old, you're influenced by the popular music at the time, typically. But I was influenced by Nirvana, Nine Inch Nails, all those bands as well, right? Because that was the competing genres at the time. But one of my favorite artists, especially when I was younger, was Snoop Dogg. Right? Incredibly popular. Snoop Dogg was at the time. He still is, right? I went to see him live, and it just wasn't the same. It was not the same as the studio recordings.
Right.
So some musicians really can just nail a live show. I think like the Foo Fighters is one of the last live shows I initially saw, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like
Right.
True, what I want to call true musicians, right?
Performers.
Now, obviously, Snoop Dogg's a musician of some kind, but he's not playing instruments. They don't have the full band with him. You got all the electronic music behind him, so there's something special about the band.
Right.
So what is the name of your band?
Carson City Rebels.
Carson City Rebels. And so you've been in many bands in your life. So before we get into the Carson City Rebels, let's just go ahead and get right into the fact about how you learned how to play guitar, why you're a musician. It seems like it's been a lifelong journey for you.
Started playing guitar in grade school about age 10, and my first live performance was the 6th grade graduation, and I performed Red River Valley along with 3 other guitar players as the class entered the auditorium.
All right.
Singing Red River Valley.
All right.
There's some photographic evidence to support that.
Okay.
Somewhere in the family archives.
I assumed you guys were able to hit the high notes at that age.
I did not sing.
Okay.
At that time. I was just strumming the chords.
Okay. All right. So did you always start out with bass, or did you start with traditional guitar?
Guitar. I play guitar. At age 16, my mother bought me a Fender Jazz bass.
Okay.
And because of her associations, this was in Phoenix, Arizona, she got me into a rock and roll band playing the bass guitar.
Oh, wow.
And it was a very wild ride for a 16-year-old because in the 1 year that I was with the band, The Wanderers,
Okay.
we opened for some very big acts like the Byrds and the Lovin' Spoonful and the Mamas and Papas and Sonny and Cher. And it was an experience that changed my life.
So did you do some pretty serious touring at 16? Or were you mostly just regional, considering you're probably still in high school?
It was no touring, just playing in Phoenix.
Yeah.
These big bands would play Phoenix before they would play L.A.
Oh, right.
And they would shake out their show, get things technically straight, and then they would go to L.A. and play.
Right.
So the gigs that the band had were teen clubs, school dances, and some of these concerts where local bands would get to open.
Right.
And that led to one band after another. Next band of note got to open for The Who one night on their first American tour. This was at Giant Stadium in Tempe, Arizona.
Okay.
Hot summer night.
Yeah.
Another lifelong memory. Being in the locker room after the show, sitting on a bench next to Pete Townsend with blood dripping off of his right hand from doing those windmill strums that he was famous for. Next band was a touring band, Sleepy Hollow, and we were managed by a couple of young concert promoters, and they were putting us on shows that they were promoting. And some of these shows included opening for Steppenwolf and the Jefferson Airplane and the Rascals, also known as the Young Rascals, a lot of hits. And we played some huge venues for thousands of people, and it was a great experience.
So there was a lot of traveling in that one. I guess you've done a lot of touring in your life, would be my assumption to some degree.
Most of the long-distance touring actually was USO shows.
Oh, yeah, right.
Toured Europe as a bass player backing up three girl singers that had a hit record. Their band was called Saint-Tropez.
Okay.
Disco Days. And also backed up, I was in a soul review, the Paul V. and Kute Kaliza review, and we toured Korea and some of the bases in the South Pacific and playing soul music.
Right. Those are invaluable experiences, right? I lived in Germany for 4 years because my dad was in the Air Force,
Okay.
right? We lived in Japan, but I was super young. I don't remember it. So, the idea of USO shows and those acts coming around, that's like I don't think USO shows have the same gravitas or bravado that they used to have World War II era, right? But there still are, when you think about the history and the importance of the troops and what they do, even though some of that's lost in the country, it seems like it's not lost on us, right? So those things are great. Those things are amazing, right? I used to deliver the Stars and Stripes, right? And when I was 11 years old and I got a newspaper route living in Germany, my grandfather was so proud of me, right? Because I was delivering the American Stars and Stripes in Europe,
Yes.
And he was an old school Air Force guy who fought in Korea, all that good stuff. So it's just really good, interesting history. So those USO shows are great. What is the best location you felt like you've gone in the world?
We took a helicopter ride to the top of a mountain to a radar base. It was above the tree line. And we put on the full show for about 10 guys.
Oh, that's cool.
And for some reason, that meant more to me than playing for 1,000 guys at a huge air base. I don't remember the name of that radar base, but that was memorable. And maybe one that comes close to that was playing at Bearcat Country, which was right up at the DMZ.
Oh, okay.
And we were going to cross a little wooden bridge with our tour bus, but there was a convoy of tanks coming down the road, so we pulled over to the side of the road for the tanks. And that was a ground-shaking experience to be that close to that kind of armor coming across a little wooden bridge. And anyways, we did the show, and we could see North Korean sentries flipping us off.
Yeah, right.
And that was a memorable show. Glad to get back to Seoul, our hotel in Seoul after that.
Right. Well, all that is very incredible. Tell us a little bit about, unless I'm skipping years of your life, right? I'm going to start asking about the Carson City Rebels. But if there's a notable story or a band or something that I seem to be glossing over, please stop me.
This is a good place to jump in. This
Okay.
is my latest project, and the project basically is a vehicle for my original songs. We do a lot of cover songs. We will be doing quite a few cover songs on the 28th to fill out the show. But KCR, or Carson City Rebels, is a project that is currently involved in producing an album. We're pretty close to having a full 10-song roster for the album, Freedom Guaranteed being one of the songs. And just very blessed to be able to produce music with the team that I have, and be able to work in the studios that are available to me. Been working with Sal Rodriguez, who is the drummer for the band War, and there's a long story there. But we've been doing the basic tracking at his house. He's been singing harmony with me, playing drums, and we've been getting audio files from a keyboard player who toured with the Doobie Brothers, Guy Allison. He lives in North Carolina now, but I send him guide tracks. He puts the keyboard parts down, and then emails them to the studio, and we get his parts integrated into the songs. A great guitar player out of Bakersfield, Kyle Appleton, records at his home studio and sends the tracks to us. And then we do a rough mix in L.A. at Sal Rodriguez's studio, and then that rough mix is sent to Grammy Award-winning engineer-producer Gerhard Yost, and I have a 30-year relationship with him. Another crazy story. We can get into that stuff later.
All right.
But he is in Austin at Studio Hill Recording Studio. It's in the Lakeview area, and it's a world-class studio, and he's a great engineer-producer. He did the mix for Freedom Guaranteed, which hopefully you'll play the studio version at some point. But both Gerhard and Sal are guys I met and worked with 30 years ago and lost track of them for about 30 years until Facebook reconnected us.
Exactly. I was literally going to say that, right? Like, think about all the people that you've known throughout your life, like major events, graduating high school, or for me, like graduating college, right? There's so many people that I know about them because I just spy on their lives through Facebook, right? Instead of, like, I would never even know anything about them or who they are or what they're doing now. So that's the positive of Facebook, right?
Absolutely. The way I connected with Gerhard was a little different than with Sal. With Gerhard, it was through Facebook, and I was playing a gig in Pine Mountain Club, California, where Gerhard lives, or had before he moved to Austin, and so I got a response asking if this was the same Gil Karson that used to record at Killer Music in Hollywood. And yeah, of course. And he says, and so we reconnected, and he had a great studio at his house and picked one of my songs to remix, and the mix that he did compared to what I thought I had a great mix on was night and day.
Right.
That's also out on YouTube. It's called Big City Full of Love.
Okay.
And there's a pretty cool music video for it. So that's YouTube reconnected me with Gerhard, and I was so happy. I said, Gerhard, you live only 12 miles from me. This is great. He says, yeah, but I'm moving to Austin next week.
Oh, yeah.
That was a year ago, and I've been blessed to be able to get to Austin and work with him at Studio Hill. And on we go. We're working on the album, and Sal's a little different. I wrote and produced 10 songs for the movie Angel Town in 1990, and I needed a guy who could sing in English and Spanish and play percussion. And one of my clients from my rehearsal studio introduced me to Sal, who was playing with a band called Tiara at the time. And Sal did a great job. We wrote a song called Fuertes Viven for the movie Angel Town, and it also wound up in the movie Lionheart with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right, okay.
And I lost track of him after that job was done. And 30 years later, I was getting some speakers repaired in Burbank, California, and for some reason they let me go back in the workshop which customers were not supposed to be able to go back there.
Right.
So I'm hanging out with the guy who's fixing the speaker, and I said, I was looking for a percussionist. Do you play percussion? He says, oh yeah, I play percussion. And I'm thinking, he might know Sal. I don't know why I thought of that. Hey, do you know Sal Rodriguez? He says, oh yeah, I went to high school with him. Reaches in his back pocket, pulls out his wallet, and has Sal's phone number on a card.
Wow. Like, who does that? Just randomly?
Yeah, that was so weird. And
it's meant to be.
And so Sal and I have been working on my songs, and he's a great harmony singer and a great drummer and pretty good audio engineer as well.
Yeah. So a couple of things based off of that story. To me, and maybe a lot of people realize this, but I'm not sure that every listener of the 9:30 a.m. radio station understands this, right? The pre-internet radio, if you will. Right. You don't have to be in the same room to make a great album, right? I mean, that's basically what you said. You got a guy in North Carolina, you got a guy in Austin, right? You can record, and every one of them has a home studio,
right?
So, by the way, this radio station, everything is recorded in a home studio. I happen to be in your living room right now for this, but as a result of the internet, you don't need a full office to have a successful business or to grow or to put something amazing together. Now, so this is going to lead into my question for you. It might be off topic, not really off topic, but so you've done both, right? You've recorded separately and then had a producer and engineer kind of put the song together, right? For a studio cut. But you've also been everybody in the studio together playing at the same time.
Absolutely, both ways.
Right. So, I mean, like, there has to be a vibe there that increases maybe the quality of the song when everybody's together and they're clicking and having a great time, right?
A well-rehearsed band going into the studio playing live cannot be rivaled.
Okay, right. But that's a lot of work previous to just getting into the studio.
Yes.
You do it separately, you can clean it up, kind of make it happen, even if maybe they haven't really rehearsed it that much.
And there are two levels of it. Yes, you can hire the best studio players to come in and read the charts, and 1 take, 2 takes, it's done. And it's great, it's musically perfect, but it isn't necessarily what you get like the Stones recording Honky Tonk Woman live.
Right. Okay.
And the energy.
And the passion, right? The sincerity that comes through a concert or that band playing it live versus somebody else just giving you a nice, clean musical cut, right?
And songs are recorded to a click track, so it's rhythmically perfect, but when you analyze the rhythm of the beats per minute of a song like Honky Tonk Woman, it speeds up. It must be 9 beats a minute faster at the end of the song than it is at the beginning of the song. But you don't notice it. It's just that the energy pushes it forward, and it was a great take, and that was the keeper, and it's sort of music history.
So with the Carson City Rebels in this, so you have this single that's been released, Freedom Guaranteed, or you're about to release, right? And then you have a new studio album that you're working on. How many studio albums have you been a part of? How many albums in your career so far?
Well, I was a studio bass player for a long time, so I played on tracks for other people. This will be my first album.
Oh, okay. So you've been involved and done a lot of it, but this is the first time you're spearheading it yourself and really getting it together.
Yes.
Well, that's excellent. So Freedom Guaranteed. Now, Freedom Guaranteed will be played live for the first time?
Yes, it will.
And why don't you go ahead and tell us what this is?
It'll be played live for the first time with a full band.
Okay.
I did perform it for a Veterans Day event several years ago in Santa Clarita, California. And that was just acoustic guitar, and what we did was we took the lead vocal off of the studio track, and I sang to the track with the studio.
And you're going to play a condensed version of your new song here for us here in a little bit.
Yes.
Right.
And on the 28th, it'll be a full live version.
So Sunday, May 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Right.
Down by the beach, right next to the water park. Water park opens that day for the first day, right?
Yes.
There's always free swimming at the beach. The concession stand will probably be open down there where they have the boats, right? There's lots to do down there in addition to the idea of just enjoying a great band, right?
There'll be 3 other great bands.
So we're 4 bands total.
And Carson City Rebels will be the last band, and we should go on about 3 p.m.
Yeah, well, it's all
3:30.
it's all approximate, right? But
one other thing is we're expecting a number of really great food trucks.
okay,
to be
good.
there.
And that's just kind of what I was getting into. So there's plenty of activities to do down there already when you're enjoying the music. So you're going to have some food trucks. Are you charging for this, or is this free?
This is a free event,
Free event.
and
Do you have any sponsors?
not the city is supporting us.
Okay, so City of Carlsbad would be a sponsor. Obviously, they're supporting by allowing use of the park and some of the other things. And there's electricity that's got to be run, things of that nature. So the City of Carlsbad is helping. Otherwise, you're just, as the band itself, as the lead, the head of this band, you're putting together a free concert for like an album release or song release.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so we're going to have 4 bands total. So you're the headliner.
Yes.
Which makes sense considering you're the one debuting a song. First time that people can hear the song Freedom Guaranteed as a band live, Sunday, May 28th, about 3 p.m. But we have 4 bands total, so you have 3 bands opening up for you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. Favorite local band, the Beer Cousins. They do a great job.
I'm very familiar with the Beer Cousins. My wife and I have hired them for our vineyard and event planning business that we have. They're a great band. Their music appeals to everybody, in my opinion. It's not an obscure genre of music. They really play a nice wide variety of songs. And I like to joke around. There's one song that I heard that they played, and I can't remember what it is. And I've heard it a few times from them. I was like, wow, that song's really good, right? Then I heard it on the radio, right? And because it's an older song, and my first thought was, this guy just stole the song from the Beer Cousins. Because that was my first thought, because the first time I ever heard that song was from them. And they did a great, it sounded like it was their original song.
Yeah.
The Beer Cousins are worth it. Are they going to kick off at 11, or you think they're going to kick off like 11:30 or noon?
They'll probably go on about 11:30. We're going to start with a prayer.
Got it. Yeah.
And the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure.
We're going to present the colors. We may play Freedom Guaranteed, the studio recording, at that point.
Yeah, part of the whole intro. Right. And it is, let's not forget, you're having a concert, but this is a Memorial Day concert. We're honoring our veterans.
And our fallen heroes
Yes.
throughout our history. Then that's what it's all about. That's what the song's about, and that's why we're doing this.
Okay. Song release party. We'll mention it again. You can never mention any of this enough, right? Sunday, May 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Down by Lake Carlsbad. You guys will be at the Bandshell. We got the Beer Cousins. Then you mentioned 2 bands that I have not heard of before, or bands or artists. The Groove and then Matt Palmer.
Right. The Groove is a really great all-around variety band. They play classic rock, Tejano, cumbias, Santana, Black Sabbath. They kind of have a wide range.
Right.
And I heard them at The Shade.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I can testify that they can bring it.
All right. There you go. Cal Shade Western has a lot of bands. Quite often they bring in a lot of artists. So that's a good place to check out. So I think some maybe new and upcoming talent, or just some local talent,
Absolutely. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah. And Matt Palmer. What about Matt Palmer?
Matt Palmer is a lead singer, lead guitar player. He performs a lot by himself, just on acoustic guitar. But he will be with his power trio.
All right.
Have a drummer and a bass player backing him up, and he does hard rock country, like Leonard Skinner type stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty powerful entertainer.
Well, let's get ourselves in position for you to play Freedom Guaranteed for us.
All right.
The version that you wanted. And while you're getting yourself ready, he's got to get the guitar ready. We're going to get the microphone in the right location to try to maximize the sound quality. We're doing it on the fly. So this is Gil Karson with the Carson City Rebels. He is going to play Freedom Guaranteed for us. Now, this is a different version. It's not the full band. This is going to be his acoustic version. And, Freedom Guaranteed. Don't forget, Sunday, May 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a Memorial Day celebration. There's 4 bands. It's a song release party. Freedom Guaranteed, the first time that Gil Karson has played this song on the radio. I'm ready whenever you are, sir.
They gave their lives so you and I could live free. Men and women who served our country. From the birth of our nation until today, they stood up proud for the USA. They've always been there in our time of need to keep our freedom guaranteed. Whoa, freedom guaranteed. For all who've given their lives, thank you for the freedom guaranteed. When I see the stars and stripes, well, I fill up with pride. May our fallen heroes all rest on high. Well, I think about courage, the last breath they gave, home of the free because of the brave. When I look at the truth down through history, freedom has a price, liberty isn't free. Whoa, freedom guaranteed. For all who've given their lives, thank you for the freedom guaranteed. Whoa, freedom isn't free. For all who've given their lives, thank you for the freedom guaranteed. For all who've given their lives, thank you for the freedom guaranteed. For all who've given their lives, thank you for the freedom guaranteed.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. That was great. I mean, I heard it online. I listened to it yesterday to do some research before I came here. But that was incredible. You have a really, really talented individual, I believe. Well, that's really, really great. And I think it's an honor. So anybody that's listening to this, I mean, this will be online, right, at some point for you to listen to. But anybody that's listening to this live, they got a special treat right there. I'm honored. I thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate you sharing that song with us. I think it's a beautiful song. The timing, the message couldn't be more appropriate either. So really great stuff. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the interview and getting this out to everybody.
All right, so let's do a quick recap. Sunday, May 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 4 bands, Beer Cousins, The Groove, Matt Palmer, followed by the Carson City Rebels and their debut song, Freedom Guaranteed, which we just heard a snippet of. You're a talented live artist. That sounded really, really great. And anybody that's able to attend that event is really going to have a treat.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right, sir, thank you very much for being here.
All righty. Well, I'll see you at the beach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.